What if Kennedy had never been assassinated? This video does not present real historical events. It is a speculative alternative history scenario based on historical context and academic interpretations. History does not always change through wars or revolutions. Sometimes it changes with a single bullet. In 1963, if the President of the United States had survived, the world we know today might look completely different. This video explores an alternative timeline in which John F. Kennedy was never assassinated. This is not a prediction. This is one possible version of history. The early 1960s were one of the most dangerous periods in human history. The United States and the Soviet Union were locked in the Cold War, each seeing the other not just as a rival, but as an existential threat. The Cuban Missile Crisis brought the world closer to nuclear annihilation than at any other moment before or since. Yet the crisis ended not through military force, but through restraint and diplomacy. And at the center of that decision was a president who chose de-escalation over confrontation. Now let us pause. On November 22nd, 1963. What if that assassination attempt had failed? What if Kennedy had completed his presidency with the same advisors, the same philosophy, and the same caution? From this moment forward, we step away from real history. Kennedy's foreign policy combined firm rhetoric with a deep awareness of nuclear consequences. In this alternative timeline, diplomatic channels between Washington and Moscow remain open, nuclear arms escalation slows, early détente begins years sooner, weapons do not disappear, but they speak less often. As a result, fewer proxy wars, fewer military coups, lower global nuclear tension. The Cold War continues, but it becomes more controlled and less volatile. Kennedy was skeptical of large-scale military involvement in Vietnam. In this scenario, US troop deployments remain limited. Vietnam stays a regional conflict rather than a full war. The massive social trauma of the late 1960s never fully materializes. This changes America internally. Political polarization is reduced. Trust in government erodes more slowly. A generation grows up without a defining war experience. The United States becomes a more stable society at home. For Kennedy, the space program was more than competition. It was a vision of the future. In this alternative world, the moon landing occurs earlier. Space exploration emphasizes science over militarization. Limited cooperation with the Soviet Union becomes possible. Space transforms from a battlefield of prestige into a shared frontier for humanity. This accelerates civilian technology development, computing and communications research, scientific collaboration across borders. In this version of history, the US does not assume the role of global enforcer. Europe gains political independence sooner. China's rise is slower and more balanced. Several Middle Eastern conflicts never fully emerge. Would the world be peaceful? Probably not, but it might be. More predictable, more stable, less shaped by long-term trauma. History is not inevitable. It is the accumulation of choices, sometimes a decision, sometimes hesitation, sometimes a single moment. The survival of one leader can indirectly shape the lives of millions. This version of history never happened, but it could have. And perhaps the real question is this: how will the decisions made today shape the history of tomorrow?